Welcome to another edition of the Business and Personal Podcast, where we bring you closer to the people that we do business with or you do business with. And very excited today to have Cathy Mott on with us. She's the owner and founder of CWC Leadership Development. And she has an incredible app that she's developing right now as well that I think can impact and help anybody that's listening to this podcast. We could all benefit from it. So, first of all, Cathy, thanks so much for joining us. I know you're very busy. I appreciate you carving out some time.
Oh, it's absolutely my pleasure. I'm excited to be here.
So, this is the Business and the Personal podcast. So, before we dive into the CWC things, let's learn a little bit about Cathy and what did lead you to CWC.
Okay, so a little bit about me. Currently, I am an executive coach with a specialty in emotional intelligence, certified through the International Coaching Federation and also certified through the Institute for Social and Emotional Intelligence. And what got me into CWC Leadership Development, I worked for a wonderful organization about 12 years ago that invested over $100,000 in my training. They sent me to school for executive coaching, and I got a new boss who said, "No more coaching for Cathy." And I loved it so much. I said, I could either stay here and complain about a bad boss, or I could leave and start my own business. So I left, started my own business, and I haven't looked back.
Love it. Everybody loves a good old American success story like that. That's
Yes,
the American dream for sure.
yes.
So, just kind of quickly before we get into this app that you're developing, what does CWC do? What types of people do you help with that?
Okay, so we go into large organizations, and it could be small organizations too, and we coach their executives to become better leaders within the organization. We also do leadership training and development. When I'm coaching my executives, what I have noticed is when they increase their emotional intelligence, their leadership abilities flies through the roof. Their personal lives get better. They become better mothers and fathers, sons and daughters. It is just amazing to see what happens. And I'm typically with my executive clients for 6 months to a year. And I love working with them and watching them grow. I always say I specialize in introducing people to themselves. I hold the space so that they come face to face with themselves and see what they like, what they want to keep, what they want to change, and how they can grow.
Absolutely love that. Ted Lasso is one of my favorite shows, and the coach knows nothing about soccer whatsoever, but he sure knows people
Yes.
and gets the most out of them. And sometimes that's what it's being an expert in people can really lead to a lot of success sometimes, right?
Absolutely. So previously, organizations used to hire individuals for based on their resume, for their skill set in a particular modality of doing something. Now they hire leaders based on emotional intelligence, based on their people skills. Are they able to influence people to be the best version of themselves? So I always share with leaders, when you accept a leadership role, that means you will continue to develop yourself, grow and develop, and you will continue to grow and develop your team. So recognize when you say yes to that leadership role, it really is leading people. But also, my motto for CWC is the first person we lead is ourselves. Are you thriving under your own leadership? And if you are, then you're able to lead other people.
Absolutely love that. And all of your work with CWC kind of led you to starting this emotional intelligence app. So, not everybody is a fit for CWC's services, but everybody could benefit from this emotional intelligence app. So, tell me a little bit about how that came about and how it works.
Okay, absolutely. And I do have permission to share this story from my executive client. So, back during the pandemic, 2 years into the pandemic, I was coaching a chief nursing officer over an entire healthcare system who reported to the CEO over an entire healthcare system. They're 2 years into to the pandemic, and he never turned on his camera on Zoom, and she hated it. They only had one-on-ones once a month. She hated it. So I said, well, what conversations have you had with him about turning on his camera? She said, none. I said, what prevents you? And she said, well, I can hear him typing in the background, opening his mail, answering his text. He's busy. I don't want to disturb him. So I say to her, I said, can I tell you what I think is going on? She says, absolutely. I said, it's fear. She says, absolutely. So I pull up a wheel of emotions and I ask her, when you're in his presence, how do you feel? She says, inadequate and worthless. I said, okay, what do you want to do with those emotions? She says, inadequate, I'm going to toss out the window because I know I'm great at my job. And worthless is how my dad used to make me feel when I was in his presence. And my boss reminds me of my dad. So maybe this doesn't have anything to do with him. I said, okay, what's your next move? She said, I'm going to have the conversation and ask him to turn on his camera. She had the conversation. He turned on his camera. Their relationship improved. And she's now the CEO of a healthcare system in Oklahoma City. And she hired me last year to come and teach emotional intelligence to her team. So it was that conversation that made me say, oh my goodness, I have to make this available to the masses. So I took that coaching conversation and put it into the app and created it so that everyone would be able to name and tame their emotions. If you don't know the emotion that you're feeling, it's just whirling around within your body, within your thoughts. You don't know what to do with it. Once you name it, you can tame it.
Absolutely love that. So
Mhm.
walk us through exactly how this app works then.
Okay, so every day when the user signs in, the app says, what am I feeling today? And within that app, that first screen, there are the 6 core emotions: fear, love, joy, anger, sad, and surprise. Those 6 core emotions. So once you tap on one of the core emotions, let's say it's fear, a plethora of emotions that fall under fear, such as anxiety, insecurity, feeling inadequate. All of those emotions fall under fear. So the user gets an opportunity to narrow down and be specific what emotion they're feeling. So when they tap on the emotion, there's a definition. So you can read the definition to see if it aligns with what you're feeling. So once you choose an emotion, so you go from what am I feeling? The next screen says, I am feeling anxious. Okay. The next question is, what do I want to do with this emotion? The next question is, what's causing me to feel this way? The next question is, excuse me, who would you like to share this emotion with? You may choose someone, you may choose not to share it with someone, but there's a list of people that you can share this emotion with. The next question is, what do I need from my listener? Because a lot of times when we share our emotions, people feel like they have to fix them. So if a person says, I'm sad, someone may say, oh, don't feel that way. You have so much going for you. But the app allows them to let the listener know what they need from them. I give them a series of choices: active listening, an apology, understanding, comfort, validation. So you get to say what you want your listener, how you want them to show up. And then the last question is, what were the benefits of working through this emotion? And they get to talk about the benefits. When you hit finish, there's a link where you can send a link to your support person, your listener, and tell them, I am feeling anxious and this is what I need from you. Can we meet over coffee or lunch? And it doesn't share what you personally write about in your app, but it shares what you're feeling, what you need from the listener, and can we meet over lunch? And then the amazing thing that it does, it keeps data. It shares you what emotion you spend most of your time in. And then you have an idea of where you spend most of your time. And you can also set goals as to, well, maybe next month I want to spend a little more time in joy.
Absolutely incredible. And, the amount of time we spend on our phones and the mindless scrolling that we do, if you just take a few minutes every day to just a few minutes to start, to maybe start working with this. And as you start to see the results, I'm sure people spend more and more time on it. But, I don't think people understand. And I was amazed when I looked at your website. We go through 400 emotions, not yearly, not in our lifetime, not yearly, not monthly, weekly, daily.
Daily. Yes, we go through over 400. And the interesting thing is when I'm working in different industries, I'll do this little assessment when I'm in a training class, and I'll have people pick up a pen, piece of paper, and I ask them write down as many emotions as you can think of in 90 seconds, and I time them. When I'm in the automotive industry, most people can only name 4 to 6. When I'm in healthcare, they can name anywhere from 15 to 17. I had the pleasure of working with a group of social workers. They named up to 27. So studies show a healthy vocabulary is anywhere from 20 to 30 words to describe how you're feeling, and that's the minimum.
Absolutely incredible. And you have a proof of concept with this with New Haven schools,
I
where you
do.
saw huge results there. Share with our viewers and listeners the results you saw with New Haven schools.
Okay, absolutely. I'm super pumped about this. So last year, New Haven High School purchased the app for their students. And within one school year, their suspensions went down by 50%. So they went from 101 suspensions to 50 suspensions in one year. And then their math and reading scores increased by 15%. And the assistant principal even showed me the printout of the behavior patterns where students were being expelled for in the previous years. It decreased drastically. And she even said, do you know anxiety is down within the school? Like we feel it less. So I'm super excited. This year, they are now taking the app to middle school. So I'm super excited about it.
Fantastic. So, what are your hopes and goals and dreams for this app to continue to develop it and grow it?
Yeah, so my hopes and dreams is to have this app in school districts across the country. My hopes and my dreams is to help people understand that they're experiencing an intense emotion. The blood flow is in the back of the brain, our emotional space of the brain, the amygdala. When you begin to ask yourself a series of questions, what am I feeling today? What's causing me to feel this way? What do I want to do with this emotion? All of a sudden, the brain says, oh my goodness, we have a logical question to answer. Let's send blood flow to the front of the brain, the more logical space of the brain, the frontal cortex, and it decreases the intensity of the emotion. And from there, you can respond to your emotions instead of react. So my goal is to help people in general all over the globe to understand that they can respond to their emotions instead of react. They can be in control of their emotions instead of having their emotions control them. We think about the horrible thing that just happened at the church over the weekend. Their emotions are out of control. When are we ever taught as adults? We weren't taught how to manage our emotions, how to name and tame them. This is a different generation, and this is something new, cutting edge, and excited, and I'm super pumped about it.
There's not a one of us that hasn't reacted brashly to something that we regret, and something like this that would solve a lot of problems in the
I
world.
know,
There's no doubt about it.
I know.
Um, so, when you think about anybody listening to this, it could be a wide range of people that could need your services between the
Mhm,
app
mhm,
or CWC's leadership advice as well. So
mhm.
let's start with the CWC side of things. Anybody that's listening, how can they get in touch with you to start with those processes?
They can get in touch with me absolutely through my website at cwcleadershipdevelopment.com. There is a prompt that says work with Cathy. And my phone number is 586-864 3844. If they want to download the app and experience it for themselves, the app is available on Apple and Google, My Journey Within, and you have to put a space between each word.
Fantastic. Well, hey, even if one person happened to be listening to this and we were able to help them out, totally worth it, right?
Oh, I agree. I've been married 42 years, and my husband used the app on me one day. And the emotion he sent to me was, I'm feeling disappointed, and what I need from you is validation. All of the prompts to the listener are set up to create vulnerability. So it says, what I need from you is validation. Sometimes I feel guilty for feeling certain emotions. When I went and had that conversation, I felt so empowered because I knew what he needed from me. And it was one of the best conversations we've had. So I've experienced the greatness of it.
You know what? Maybe you should get with all the states and make this part of a marriage license that you have to utilize the app to keep your marriage license, and maybe that'll help the divorce rate too, huh?
Hey, I'll say absolutely.
Well, Cathy, thanks so much for joining me. This is just awesome information. I can't wait to get it out there, and would like to maybe have you on down the road for an update.
Okay, I would love that. Thank you so much, Ryan.